My husband and I run this platform. It's called Book of Hours. We are a platform that you can find on YouTube. So if you go to youtube.com/Book of Hours, you can see all of the video essays that we've created so far. And we have a blog, which I'm actually going to read from today. And we have an Instagram page. It's called Book of Hours Art. And what we've done since March 13th, 2020, is we've created video essays which creatively explain and archive history and tell you what's going on in the age of COVID. So I have a response to the Ticketmaster article that's been going around regarding the requirement of vaccines in order to enter into any event. I wrote a blog piece about it, and I'm going to read the blog piece. A lot of people are missing the point. So hopefully, as I read this, you'll understand, what's really going on. So the blog piece is entitled, "The Media Says That Ticketmaster Requires a Vaccine Before Entry into Concerts and Football Games. Welcome to the Experience Industrial Complex." I'm currently making a video essay about this story, exclusive for my patrons. As media artists who have spent the last 35 years or more of our lives enjoying live music and concerts, sometimes as much as 3 times a week, even going so far as to time our honeymoon in concert, pardon the pun, with my favorite band, Fever Ray, we felt this was something that deserved our attention. If you'd like access to our work, please become a patron. Our current feature, Co-optation, not yet available to the public on our Book of Hours YouTube channel, shows how small business and worker-owned cooperatives are being seduced by vulture capitalists to their own demise. This week, the propaganda wing of the corporate-owned state wrote many stories that caused an uproar in people who like to go to places where tickets are required, places like concerts and football games. There were many propaganda outlets that covered this story, but I will focus on the one from Billboard. There are 7 takeaways from the Billboard story. Number 1, you're already experiencing COVID-19 safety protocols every time you stand online in a little circle or every time you mask up to go to the grocery store. This story is meant to prepare you for next level protocol in the age of COVID. The public were manipulated to respond. The emotional outbursts were heard all over social media. The manipulation may have caused a response on the street. The point is the story itself was meant to provoke a response of some kind from the public, and it worked. Number 3, the story made seeing a concert or going to a football game seem complicated, expensive, and time-consuming. The anti-life goal in floating this story is to make you want to... Sorry, I got interrupted. The anti-life goal in floating this story is to make you want to have all your experiences that require tickets, whether it's a concert or a football game, enjoyed from the comfort of your home in front of your computer screen. You'll happily avoid getting tested or getting a vaccine, and you'll do anything to avoid having to wear a mask. The goal is to get you to opt out of the real life experience and opt in for the online experience. You will not only buy the ticket, but you will also buy the streaming service in order to have access to the experience. There is an important sentence in the Billboard story which proves medical martial law, or biofascism as I like to call it, is underway. Quote, "Here's how it would work if approved. After purchasing a ticket for a concert, fans would need to verify that they have already been vaccinated, which would provide approximately 1 year of COVID-19 protection. To translate, after you've been vaccinated the first time, you would need to get another vaccine in a year. This is true, as many of us have said, in biofascism, where you are the chattel to make an industry rich, you won't just get off with one vaccine. It's many. And from this simple statement under the cover of a Ticketmaster story, you discover that yes, you will most likely be required to get 1 vaccine per year. In other words, COVID-19 is here to stay. Each venue, this is number 5, each venue will decide on their own if they want to institute these new policies. This tweet from Ticketmaster fan support is classic corporate speak, and it reads like this. There's been some misreporting. To clarify, Ticketmaster doesn't set policies on safety and entry requirements. We continue to work with event organizers on all COVID safety measures, and it will be up to each event organizer to set future requirements. So this is corporate speak. The tweet from Ticketmaster fan support is classic corporate speak. Of course, Ticketmaster doesn't pretend to be your doctor or the Ministry of Health. But as they clearly state, they will work with event organizers on COVID safety measures, and it will be up to the discretion of each event how they want to proceed. You see this kind of language on websites for all the stores and various other institutions where COVID safety measures are put in place, even though the stores or the companies themselves play innocent to their role in these measures. Number 6. This sentence says a lot. Ticketmaster also plans to deploy its new smart event system, which helps event organizers and fans manage social distancing, delayed entry, and provide possible opportunities for contact tracing. Possible opportunities for contact tracing. To translate, this means that investment opportunities will be made for venues and services who provide your personal health data. Provided to who? Google? Who knows? How is it that the venues can suddenly find the income to pay staff, run their light and their sounds, all that equipment? It's because they've contracted themselves out to be contact tracers. I would even go so far as to say if a venue is not acting as cover for contact tracing, they won't be allowed to open. And number 7, this is something I like to call the quote, let me repeat that. This is something I like to call the experience industrial complex. What this story is telling you is that whether you attend the event or not, capital will still be made. People will still get paid. A term you should really normalize in your day-to-day language, which is boring and corporate sounding, is impact investors. In this particular scenario, impact investors are paying the following people: the drugstore or the health provider that takes your COVID-19 test, which you will have to pay a fee for. So you'll have to pay a fee for the COVID-19 test on the front end. So not only are they making money off the cost of the COVID-19 test from you, but then they're making money from the impact investor on the back end. The impact consultant that makes every venue COVID ready is also getting paid. This is the person that walks around with the house manager at a conference venue and gives them suggestions on how to improve their COVID regulation. They hand them over to another company that does the build out of these new regulations. The person who actually redoes the physical space through installing safety zones or plastic dividers or various other specific COVID stations also makes money. The startup that designed the app that you have to download onto your phone to prove you took the vaccine or to prove you took the test, which also shows that you did what you had to do to have your human approved experience, is also making money. There are a myriad of companies, investors, social impact consultants or investors that have turned your experience into a money-making scam. This is why it's called the experience industrial complex. By the time you get into the venue, money has been made on all the hoops that you've jumped through just to get to the venue. And if something comes up and you have to work late and you can't make the game or the concert, you will no longer be able to sell your ticket on Craigslist or Facebook. Your entry to the event is attached to your passport, which has your health data and a picture of you. So if you can't make it to the venue, you have to eat the cost of the ticket as well. So this story that's been going around that's so popular that I read on Billboard magazine, this story, if you really read it, is an opportunity for a myriad of people who you will never see working behind the scenes to make a lot of money based on a perceived need. If you want to experience a concert, a football game, a museum, a play, the symphony, a festival, or anything that requires a ticket, then that experience will be turned into profit, big profit. The days of just buying a ticket at your local box office to see a show is gone. There's no money to be made in that direct, easy transaction. The worst part of this, which is why I'm glad to see there's such an explosive response to this exploitation of our human experiences, is that the performers, the musicians, and those who we want to see live and in person will see very little, if any, of all that money that is being made. So I hope that that makes sense to everybody. That what's happening with this story is it's being floated out. It's letting you know what's coming up next. What's coming up next is the human industrial complex, where these protocols, you know, this story that's gone viral, that everybody is reacting to, this is a floater. This is to let you know that this is next level COVID protocol. So, you know, I belong to an app or a program called Bandcamp, or Bands in Town, and I go through and I see which bands I like are coming through my area. Then I go to see where I can buy the ticket. And when I buy the ticket through Ticketmaster, or probably any ticket agency, it doesn't have to be Ticketmaster, it can be any of them, it'll probably have a little alert that says, you know, make sure you get the COVID app, and that you have to download your COVID Pass or your approved COVID app, right? Then you have to go get tested and make sure that you come up negative in the test, which that provider, which gives you the test, will download the information to your app. So this is why you've got many different things that you have to do now. It's no longer just buy a ticket and go to a show. It's you've got to go get tested, possibly go get a vaccine. And all these people, all these hoops that you jump through, all of these different places that you go, they're making money from the impact investors on your experience. This is a sort of the idea that came about in 9/11 when they installed all of the TSA systems that you have to go through. Those are systems that are not necessary, that you don't need to actually have TSA. We don't have a security threat in this country. There is no need for TSA, but they needed to provide a service and justify funding for that service. So they created the crisis. You've all heard about this, you know, problem, reaction, solution type stuff. So this is the next level of that. This is basically having to jump through major hoops, selling off your biodata, actually giving it away, having it stolen from you, probably sold to Google for a huge profit. Everybody is making a lot of money. By the time you walk through the door to see a band or go to the football game or whatever it is you're doing where it required some kind of ticket, many people have already made thousands of dollars off of your decision to have that human experience. And that's why it's called extraction. That's why it's called chattel. That's why it's called, you know, bioslavery or biofascism. You're getting very little back from all that you're giving into these systems, which are pretending that they're necessary, but they're not really. They're fabricating a need in order to justify funding and paychecks, and to justify, you know, Silicon Valley having way too much influence and power over not only in our government, which we all see that this is happening, but also now in our health protocols, in our health data. So this should be alarming to you. This should raise huge red flags for you. In fact, we're going to do a video exclusively for our patrons. We need to generate more patronage. We need to get more people on board onto our Patreon page. We're just looking for 3 more people to sign up to be patrons by the end of the month. And we also need more people to follow us on YouTube and share our stuff around. But that's what's going on. You know, if you've got to look at it through like corporate reports and corporate speak, and, you know, people who who are on the back end, the managers that are making lots and lots of money on every single one of our experiences in life. You know, and even if you opt out of the entire thing and you're like, look, I really don't want to miss the band, I really love the band, and they're gonna do a live streaming service, I'll just sign up for the live streaming service. I'll pay an extra $20 to have access to the experience on my computer or on my phone. Well, that's still, you know, they're still making money off of you. They're still extracting. And not only that, they're taking away the necessary human experience, you know. Human beings. I mean, I would never want to see a concert of my favorite band, which is Fever Ray. I would never want to see them on my screen. I want to see them in person, you know. The whole human experience and human connection is next level when you're in person. You're bumping into people, you're having a real experience. So this is you know, this is what's coming around the corner. And the good news about this is that enough people have pushed back. When this story went viral, enough people said, hey, wait a minute, this isn't cool. But what they're not getting, you know, they're understanding the very basics of the story, which is that you have to have a vaccine or a COVID test before you go see a concert. Okay, everybody's upset about that. That's the surface level. That's the low-hanging fruit. That's the easy stuff. That's where everybody's going. That's easy to see. What's more difficult to comprehend and what's more difficult to try to explain, as you know, as we try to explain, is all of the different variables that are in place that are making money off of your experience when they don't need to. You don't need to get a COVID test. You don't need to pay for a COVID test. You don't need to download an app. Every time you download that COVID app, somebody in Silicon Valley gets another, you know, $600,000. Like, people are making thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Each person is justifying their paycheck based on your decision to either download an app or have some kind of experience. And that's extraction. That's slavery when you're not seeing the benefit of that. You should be getting paid to go to concerts with all of the different variables in place. They should be paying you to go to concerts. That's how it should work. If they're going to make you get a test, download an app, prove that you're the person that's attached to the biodata, make you stand in a circle, make you act like an idiot with a mask on and all that stuff, then they should be paying you to go to the concert. Instead, not only are you paying for the ticket, but you're paying for your sovereignty, your biodata, things that nobody should have access to. Google seems to think that they should have access to everything. They're behind everything. So, you know, it's tough. I think that we're going to have to start figuring out, you know, new ways. If you found somebody that's like, hey, look, I'm going to be doing like a street show and just come and enjoy yourself, go there. And don't worry about going to a concert venue where you have to like twist yourself into a pretzel, hand over your sovereignty, hand over your biodata for free, be extracted so that, you know, hundreds of people can make lots and lots of money off of you before you even set your foot in the door. And then what if something happens? You're stuck with the cost of the ticket. You can't sell the ticket because it's attached to your biodata. It's attached to your human approved existence, which is, you know, what you're going to have to download on your cell phone. You know what I mean? So that's what I wanted to come on and talk about. Some people are saying that it's like a fake story. It's not a fake story. It's not a fake story. Look around. Look around. You are already putting masks on just to go to the grocery store. You're already like, you know, standing in stupid little circles just to go to the grocery store. All of these are COVID protocols to get you, to prepare you, and what I like to say, tenderize you or prepare you for next level COVID protocol, which is testing and vaccines. And the key to all of it, I'm telling you, the key to all of it is to download that stupid app that your state representatives or your health departments in your state or wherever, they're telling you to download your state's COVID pass. Don't do it. Okay, don't do it. If we all refuse to download that COVID pass, this is going to be very, very difficult to roll out. So that's one tiny little thing you can do. And then the next thing you can do is find some people in your local neighborhood that like to play the guitar. You know, we like to play the guitar sometimes. Find people in your area that, you know, like to do little things where you don't have to like go get a COVID test or get a vaccine or prove that you're, you know, that you're who you are with your little COVID pass. You know, just, you know, try to make life as normal as possible, because all of this stuff is anti-life. It's all meant to hurt you. It's all meant to take something from you, to extract from you, like your chattel, you know, like your a human slave, you know, for the benefit of people who are writing laws, writing protocol, writing code, doing all this stuff. They're getting paid lots of money based on your experience and based on your like physical and energetic investment into those experiences. So anyway, I wanted, you know, I'm working on the script right now for this video. I'm glad that you know this topic came up, because it's something that we wanted to address for a while, you know, because we're really into music and art, and you know, we were going to do all sorts of stuff before COVID hit. We were going to be, you know, we came to Pittsburgh, PA from San Francisco, California, and we were basically going to start like a nonprofit or some kind of organization where we could put on festivals where people could perform on the street, and there would be art walks, and it would be people coming together. Well, in the age of COVID, nobody wants to come together. Everybody's afraid to come together because they think that, you know, that they'll catch a disease or something. So that whole idea of ours was killed. It was killed in the age of COVID. So what we're doing is we're putting all of our energy and all of our talent and all of our background into our video essays, which you can see on our YouTube page. And so that's what we had to we had to shift things up a bit. Like, we can't throw festivals. We can't have street festivals. We can't have, you know, we can't take an old garage that's been abandoned and turn it into a really cool art house or performance venue, which was kind of like, that was the idea that we were gonna do. You know, just get people together. That's what we wanted to do, is just really get people together and have them showcase their talents. And, you know, this whole COVID pass, like, biofascism, you know, these next level protocols that people might have to jump through in order to just have a life and have an experience, you know, maybe it will push society into those concepts that my husband and I had before COVID. You know, maybe we'll be forced to do that. I think that would be amazing if some good came out of this, you know. I think it's going to take people time to wrap their head around, you know, what it is that's being done. I think when I talk about, you know, social impact investors and, you know, consultants and corporate reports, I think I lose people because they're like, what is that? What? They don't know what I'm talking about. It's because of my corporate background. I know what's going on. It's 5 or 6 little companies and startups and developers and contractors and investors and vulture capitalists, also known as venture capitalists, and social impact investors. All of these people are sniffing around, you know, your experience. How can we make money off of a concert going experience? How can we prove that we're a necessary part of something that there's really no need for that person? Just like there's no need for the TSA. You don't need to walk through those stupid machines. You don't need to do it. Just like you don't need to download your COVID pass. Just like you don't need to get a test and a vaccine. You don't need to justify someone else's vision or someone else's concept or someone else's idea on how they can scam money off the system. And that's what it is. It's a big fucking scam. And it pisses me off because I'm tired of feeling like, you know, like I'm getting taken advantage of in this whole thing. You know, they're using COVID as a way to make money off of your existence, and it's annoying. I'm getting sick of it. So I think that this is going to be a rough winter, and we're going to hibernate and we're going to absorb information, and JP and I will continue to make the video essays which show you what's going on. Go to Book of Hours on YouTube and check out our work. So we will do that during the winter months when it's cold and snowy, and then in the springtime and in the summertime, I think we're going to see an emerging of people kind of doing their own thing, kind of starting things on their own, where it doesn't have anything to do with COVID. It doesn't have anything to do with masking or testing or anything like that. It's like, we're normal, you know, and it may not be fancy, and it may not be like, you know, something really truly hip. It might be really grassroots. It might be kind of clunky and strange at first, but I think that's what that's where you start. That's what needs to happen. And let the people who want to go see these great bands, who are willing to hand over all of their biodata for profit and be extracted like slaves, go ahead and let them have those experiences, while the rest of us are going to try to figure out, you know, real grassroots movements and ways of having a human experience without a fucking mask on and standing in a fucking circle. You know, I mean, if you've seen some of the footage of some of these concerts where people have to people are bouncing in bubbles like as the band is going, what the hell is that about? So that's not a human experience. That's anti-life, and you want an experience that is life affirming. All of your experiences in life, when you go to the symphony, like if you go to a free symphony outside and the music comes over you, you have an experience. Your cells change, your body reacts to this. Your spirits are lifted when you see a band in concert live. It changes the way that you feel physically. So the idea that these experiences are going to be extracted for profit is deplorable. It's an awful, awful thing. That it's like, I'm going to take your happiness and I'm going to try to turn it into a way for me to make profit. So all of these different little impact investors and people that do the COVID test, they are all in contract with each other. They're all making money. Thousands of dollars have been made before you even enter the concert venue, is what I'm trying to say. You know, somebody said to me, but wait a minute, if you're saying that all these people are making money off of this experience, don't they still need you as the individual to buy the ticket? Don't they still need you as the individual to buy the ticket to keep the lights on, to, you know, make the venue stay open, you know, light up the marquee and all that? Not necessarily. If an impact investor goes into a concert venue and says, if you are COVID approved, you will get the funding from the venture capitalist. You will get the funding, so you can afford to pay your staff, you can afford to pay your lighting crew, you can afford to pay your sound crew, your engineering crew, all that stuff. But you have to be a COVID approved and COVID changed operation. You can't just do things like you've always done it. If those venues go, yeah, no, I don't want to do that, well then, good luck getting funding. But chances are, because it's not mandated, because it's not a health law, because it's really just this big corporate practice, nothing's really going to happen to them. And the people will still flock to that venue because you don't have to wear a mask. You don't have to stand in a stupid circle like an idiot. You don't have to jump around in a bubble while the band is playing, you know? Because it's not a mandate, it's not a health law. It's like, oh, well, you know, you're a venue that decided not to get the funding. A lot of these venues, like I mentioned in the thing I just read, it's a blog post I wrote in response to, you know, the Ticketmaster article that's been going around. A lot of these venues are acting as cover for contact tracers. So they are the contact tracer. Like, you cannot enter the venue until you give up all of your information and you tell them the last 3 places you were over the last week of your life. So they're acting as cover they're secret contact tracers, but they're not so secret about it. They're basically like, if you want access to this experience, whether it's like my favorite band, Fever Ray, or another band, Arcade Fire, or I don't know, name some normal bands that you like. Just anything that you want to go do and anything that you want to see, you have to give up so much of yourself. You have to take the test, you have to take the vaccine, you have to, be contact traced. Okay, these venues are acting as contact tracers, is what I'm trying to say. And they say it right in the article. So when I'm done here, which will be very soon, I will link my blog post. And in my blog post, you can read the article that I'm responding to, which is a Billboard magazine article or Billboard.com article. And you'll see that, there's a tweet from Ticketmaster Fan Support that says, although we are not, we don't dictate health practices, we will be working with venues in the future to set up these COVID protocols. Okay, so that's corporate speak, where they're basically talking out of both sides of their mouth, So people have a hard time, understanding this. It's a real thing. It's really happening. This is the next phase into it. Back in March, when my state that I currently live in was closed down on March 13th, 2020, when Trump went and said, I'm declaring a national emergency and all this stuff, I knew it was over. Like, your life is over. Though, COVID is here to stay. And I say it in my blog post. COVID is here to stay. And so what we need to do is figure out ways to function outside of these COVID mandates or these COVID corporate-backed, financialized experiences. You shouldn't have to worry about companies that don't have anything to do with anything making a lot of money on your experiences, Like I said, before you even walk through the door to have your experience of seeing the band, all of these various variables and companies and corporations and investors have already made the thousands of dollars on you. So my deal is, I don't want to participate in events or in experiences that are just there to make a profit. It takes the joy out of it. They're literally ripping the heart and soul of the event and the experience, ripping it right out of you and right out of the artist as well. Because at the end of the day, after all these people and these various impact investors and social innovators and consultants and whatever, all this technology that's around it, after they've made all their money, the artist, the guy who's playing in the band, the whole band, they don't get any money. They don't see that. So it's the artist that also suffers, which is one of the reasons why you have so many artists that are coming out in opposition to this article that came out about the Ticketmaster requiring a COVID test or a vaccine, So they have a lot of them that are coming out, like especially on Twitter, that are just like, no, this isn't right, So there's a corporate structure, a corporate report in place that is dictating all of this, okay? And it's hard because it's not something that you can tangibly touch or feel. It's basically like, well, I want to see a show. Well, okay, we would love to have you come see the show, but go get your COVID test and make sure that you are negative, and then download this app, and then that information that, say it's CVS or Rite Aid or whatever that took your test, they will download it to the app, and then the app will tell the ticket agency, and then the ticket agency will take your biodata and hand it over to Google and hand it to the venue, and then the venue then says, aha, we got one, which justifies them changing the way that they operate inside the venue with the plastic barriers and the circles in the floor and the hand sanitizer everywhere you go. And they're probably going to have, masks with the venue name on the front and all this stupid stuff, right? So each one of these people are in concert, pardon the pun, with each other, okay, making lots of money. They just need your participation so that they can justify their paychecks. Everyone from, the person who takes the COVID test to the person who is investing in the plastic shields that go up inside the venue. Like, everyone's making money off of you participating. That's why I'm like, I'm not, when it should be the other way around. If all these people are making hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars off of me participating in something, then I want to see a cut of it too. If I can't get out of this system, and this system is so fucked up and oppressive, this is biofascism we're talking about, then I want to see a cut of it. I want to see it. I want to be paid to go to a concert. That's how it should be. That's how it should be, because there's a lot of money that's being made from your experiences, So people have to start looking at themselves as having a little more power and autonomy than they realize. You're the reason. Your participation in this system is the reason that the system continues to exist. It's kind of it's a really kind of fucked up, crazy relationship. It's really hard to kind of wrap your head around, but hopefully the blog post will clear it up for everyone, and we can we can figure something else out to replace these oppressive experiences. So I'm going to get back to it. I've been working on the script, and I've been working on the video work and the music that's going to go with it. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be available for our patrons. We have another one that's available for our patrons right now if you want access to it. It's called Co-optation. If you want access to it, you could just become a patron for a couple of bucks a month, and you'll have access to all of our work before it's made available to the public. Okay, so thank you so much for joining today. It was nice to see some familiar names, Catherine, and some new names as well. Thanks for joining us on this channel. Please share it with your friends. And when I'm done here, I'll go ahead and put my blog post in, and I'll put all the different ways that you can sign up to get access to our work. All right, thanks guys. Have a good afternoon.